Miami fans, I'm going to post this to the community page. So you'll get a notification if you are subscribed, and we'll put up a poll. Miami fans, do you prefer the SEC, the Big Ten, or a stabilized ACC?
I mean, I need more. What does everything look like? You know,
well, if it happens immediately, the Big Ten looks like the Big Ten right now with 16, and the SEC has its 16, and the ACC would be minus Miami and probably a partner, at least one.
Mm-hmm. Clemson, not Florida State. You can make the case for any of the three options. It depends. I mean, if Notre Dame comes over to the ACC and things like that, I think the stabilized ACC, like Peanut said, could be the thing. I know Jay Michael said the same thing right there. You can make the case for the SEC as well. You can make this case for the Big Ten, especially if you're looking at things other than sports. But I know that, this is a sports-based thing. But, if you're looking at academia and you're looking at, some of those other university functions, like the main university functions, you can make the case for, either or whatever. But I'm going to abstain from actually giving an answer, or my personal preference, just because there's so much more that I need to see to be able to say which one I prefer. Because everything else would just be building hypotheticals. Well, if this or if that, but all those ifs, I think need to actually change for me to decide.
I'm really narrowing down the scope of this question, because if you could change any kind of result from Miami's past, not on the field, mm-hmm. and not in the coaching ranks, mm-hmm. has there been a decision made by the powers that be regarding anything else that you think was a misstep?
It was just a perfect storm of terrible when we came to the ACC, but I understand the reasoning. And to be perfectly honest, with the way that things were going, I don't even know if staying in the Big East would have seen the rampant success that was seen, because of, some coaching and player acquisition and injury and performance issues. Miami was not operating at the caliber that they had been previously. So even staying in the Big East, I don't necessarily think would have been, the Miami Invitational, which it was. You know what I mean? Just like, in terms of football, come on. But I mean, you can say the ACC, but it makes so much sense then, it did. And, you see what happened to the Big East, football conference, after those departures and everything. So that's the only one, but I mean, only just because of the results that we've seen, not because of the decision to move in and of itself. You can back it up and say, the decision to drop independence and go to the Big East, which Rob Weaver wrote about on our website a couple weeks ago, imploring Miami to go independent again, which I don't necessarily think is the path. But, hey, read the piece. Maybe you agree with Rob about that, but yeah.
We're going to have too much football to talk about for the next 4 to 5 months, but maybe next off season, I'll size up Cam and we will go through each coaching decision with Manny Diaz being the first, because he is the last one that has a full coaching resume in the books at Miami, and go through each. Did you hear this, Cam? Maybe next offseason we'll go through each coaching decision, starting with Mario Diaz. Yes, Mario Diaz.
Yeah, that made me. I was blowing my nose, which is why I went on mute and off camera.
But we go with Manny Diaz and Mark Richt, and on through each coaching decision, see who else was on the table, possibilities, and how bad or good those decisions were.
I mean, it's going to be real quick, especially with Manny Diaz, because we didn't even evaluate anybody else.
Yeah,
literal day after Mark Richt retired.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? It was day. It was that same day. I was at brunch for my buddy's birthday.
In a hurry.
Day of. You know, like.
And usually when that happens, it's a slam dunk. It's
right. Yeah.
You know, Urban Meyer's.
Yeah, no, I remember. Okay. Yeah, phone started blowing up. I'm at brunch and everything. Stepped away real quick. Oh my God. Okay, cool. Da-da-da. All right, we've had one meeting with Manny Diaz. Da-da-da-da. All right, cool. Well, gonna go back to the hotel because he was down here or back at the house, down here on break and everything. You know, talked to his wife and everything. It was just like cool. And then that night, you know, so like if you're going back, you know, let's you know, walk down the path and see who was there and who interviewed or who was available. Da-da-da-da. It was, I mean. It was pretty much Manny Diaz. That was a direct line of succession. You know, it was just, you know, that, and it happened hella late. It was in January too. It was like, it wasn't even, yeah, that one. I mean, that's a quick conversation, but I mean, the quick conversation in terms of the transition, it would be a longer conversation as to why it went that way.
Richt, Golden, Shannon, Coker. That would be the line of Miami during the downturn, of course.
Fact.
We assume all the decisions that were made prior to that are difficult to argue with in any such way, starting with Schnellenberger. Schnellenberger through Butch Davis. Can't really argue any of those decisions.
But I mean, at the time, and I'm gleaning this from accounts of other people and reading things and watching things because I was a Michigan fan in high school at the time. But yeah, the choice to bring in Butch Davis was a little controversial at the time. But, you know, when you look at the work that was done, building the greatest college football team roster in the history of the sport for the greatest team ever, the 2001 Miami Hurricanes and everything through his tenure there, I mean, the only thing he didn't get was a ring because he left to go coach in the NFL, which is where he had been coaching. And, you know, if you talk about that, it does make sense why he left to go do that, even on the precipice of all-time greatness. There's a guy who was a coordinator for the Cowboys. Yo, I'm trying to get back to the league. And he went back to the league. But, like, at the time, yeah, there was a conversation to be had about, yo, you're bringing this guy in. And you see the work that was done. It's like, okay, yeah, no, that'll work. That one definitely will work.
The big problem with these guys that succeed in college and are chasing the NFL, though, is that unless you're the rare breed that sticks around the NFL, you get spit up. You know, you get chewed up and spit out within 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, but I mean, but also his time in college was the aberration, not the rule. You know, like he'd been in the league coaching for a while. You know, it's different when you have a Spurrier, you know, who's, you know, head ball coach and he's been down in Letcher County and, you know, fun and gun and winning championships and won a Heisman when he was there and everything and and then, okay, well, now I want to go up to the next level. I want to be Rick Pitino coaching the Knicks, you know, leaving from Providence. Like, maybe not.